Well, this weekend is a little bit of a hard decision. We have two interesting banners, I'm going to say, because I'm not sure if you guys should even pull or not this weekend. My hot take will be not to, but I'll get to that later. We are having a Lord Phineas and Zillatu banner, as well as a Praetus and Kane banner. Kane is new. I'll go over Kane mostly in this video, the main highlight, but this will also be kind of a should you summon, which I'll get into now. Basically, just to do the normal stuff, 2x banner, skip it unless you're earlier on and you're looking for quantity over quality. If you're looking for more specific heroes, you never want to pull in the 2x, in my opinion. Next, we get to the Phineas and Zillatu banner. Lord Phineas has a single use, which is why I'm going to say that you guys should not pull. But if you've seen my Abyss guide that I posted yesterday, Lord Phineas is actually instrumental in Infernal teams. So, what I will say is, if you want to pull in this banner, the only reason why I would pull in this banner is purely for Lord Phineas in one specific situation, which is if you are trying to hit 60k Abyss, or 35k, or whatever it is it may be, and you're looking for the Lord Phineas. Lord Phineas is great because he's not only a ground unit, not only does his exclusive artifact put damage reduction, he also makes Solkadins so much stronger. As you can see, this is an A0 Solkadins run. Shout out to this guy for doing that. I mean, pretty impressive. But either way, Lord Phineas is instrumental for these sorts of things. So if you need an Infernal comp for 60 or 35k, and you're missing only Lord Phineas, I think he's worth pulling for. But that's the only reason. And that's only if you really want him. I think that this banner is a complete skip, large part due to one of the best heroes in the game previously that has been power crept probably the most out of any hero in the game, which is Zillatu. Zillatu used to be like one of the most sought after units. I was looking for Zillatu for so long. Zillatu Twin Fiend used to be so important for stuff like 50k Nightmare 4 and bursting down the AMR 18 boss. If you're an OG player, you know what I'm talking about. But those times are behind us. And now, Zillatu, to be completely honest, is not worth your summons. Which I know sounds crazy, and if you're earlier on in the game, you will still get use from her. But I would never ever pull on a banner for her anymore. The reason why is because there are so many amazing fighters in this game. Why would you ever try to get a Zillatu over a Neja? Neja is useful in so many other areas. Zillatu does below average boss damage. Zillatu does below average magic damage now. And Zillatu just really is part of one of the less good factions in the game. Neja exists. Numera exists. I mean, for specific uses, you got Wukong, you got Kagura, you got Magda, you got Twyla, you have Lubu, you have Helga, I would argue is better than Zillatu for stuff like your Dungeon 2. I mean, there's just so many different units that are better, right? Arrogance exists, right? So I feel like Zillatu doesn't really have a place in the game very much. The only time I have used Zillatu, whether it's takeovers on mid-game accounts, or early game accounts, or late game accounts, or just on my accounts, is before I had Lord Phineas, I had to use Zillatu for my 35k run. But that 35k run had Awakenings on Kagura Wukong, it had Awakenings on, well, it didn't have Awakenings, but it did have Solkadins in it, right? And I was held down so much by Zillatu, I just needed the tiny bit of extra damage. But if you get Lord Phineas, you're never going to use her, right? And that in itself is a very specific use case. So, in my opinion, I think the only reason to pull on this banner this weekend is for Phineas. And that is only if you are struggling in Abyss. If you are maybe struggling in Nightmare 4 or APOC, I think you're going to get more usage out of other units, but you could still pull if you want. But as I said in my last Trigy Summon, saving is a virtue. Unless you absolutely need or want something really badly, there's obviously going to be better stuff in the future. So you really need to try to save. You cannot complain about not pulling a hero if you only have 200 pulls when they come because you pulled on a Lord Phineas banner when he didn't improve your account at all, right? That's just how these games work. You can be free to play and be competitive and have an insanely good account, but you have to really pick your battles. this is not a battle you should be taking. But one that might be worth taking is the Kane Praetus banner. Praetus is good. Praetus has become a little less good than he used to be. He used to be the best lord in the game. I don't think he is anymore. But now that Valara came out and people are getting Lady Alexandra more often, even though she is still really hard to get. I mean, the new arena changes have actually been pretty good. It's a lot easier to get to Apex, even if it is still near impossible. It is still more accessible. It's a step in the right direction, undeniably. But either way, two of the most meta-defining heroes right now are in the Arbiter faction. We have another meta-defining hero for Anti-Air and Erling Shen. We have Ingrid, who's still a very, very good DPS. I mean, the Arbiter faction is pretty solid. It's just the rest of the units I didn't name don't really have a use right now for late game content. But early game content, they still do. Either way, what I'm trying to say is Praetus is a great damage dealer and a really, really good lord. Still probably a top 3 lord right now because of Valara. Praetus is essential for Arena, mainly. Arena, Pope is incredibly important. As you can see by last week's ranking, let's see, Hassa. Hassa hit number 1. Hassa is one of the strongest accounts in the game. He's using Praetus on 2 different teams because of Valara. Now, he would still be good without Valara, but because of Valara, he has now become meta in both again, and he's also very solid in GVG. Right now, the single strongest team, in my opinion, is going to be this one. As you can see, I could show you guys every single team on both of our sides are running this. It is beatable, but not by much. Very, very difficult. This is a Pope team. Obviously, there's a couple other Pope teams. I mean, I'm running this one, which did get beat, but it did get beat by a Demon Captain, so it's kind of less of a accomplishment that it got beat, kind of, if that makes sense. Captains are so broken right now, and so rare. But as you can see, Pope is the lord there. Praetus has a lot of uses, especially in APOC, especially in just kind of random pieces of content. I would pull for Pope if you have Valara, or if you have Lady A. Then you need Pope. It's a necessity. No matter what, go for Pope. If you do not have Pope at all, I would still probably go for him. But there's also rumors that the next lord may be an Arbiter lord because it makes the most sense, and maybe he'll get replaced. Kind of hard to say, right? Either way, Pope is worth getting, especially if you have certain units. Even if you don't have those units, you might consider getting Praetus, because Praetus is very good. But if you're missing Ingrid, and maybe Ingrid's making your account kind of worse, then Praetus, not having Praetuses, then I would say for Ingrid, you know, maybe if you're worried about the new lord, maybe you could save. It's kind of up to you. I think Praetus is worth it. I think his A1 is very strong as well. His A3 is good, but you don't really need it. His A2 is kind of what I have on the main account I'm playing, and I'm happy with it. I might pull for the A3 because I'm at pity, and I'm not afraid to spend a couple bucks if I need, because I do make money off of this game, obviously. It's a no-brainer. But for most people, I would just say, if you don't have him, get him. If you do have him, don't pull at all. Okay, do not pull for Awakenings. His Awakenings are solid, but apart from his A1, you don't really need them. And then that brings me to Kane. So Kane is very weird. The main gimmick with him is cost regen, but there's a couple parts of his kit that are just simply boring and also don't really have a lot of use. The only use I see for Kane, realistically, is in Arena. Obviously, he's designed for Arena. He is an Arbiter Northerner. Arbiter's, once again, very good in Arena. And there's 2 arenas I think he has some use. So he basically generates cost, and he does some solid damage on his ult, but every time he ults, he gets weaker. It's a little bit of a problem, but that's okay. I'm going to try him out in AoE on test server, and then I'm going to show you guys why I don't think he's actually going to be meta-defining at all. Now, what we're going to do is AoE first, and AoE, we can use something like this. Now, to preface, obviously test server is a little bit weaker. I know people were saying that if I pushed all the way to Apex Overlord, it would be more equalized to global. I'm not going to spend 3 hours here clicking auto fights on a freaking test server. So just keep in mind on global, what we will be playing when Kane comes out, the enemies will have like double the HP. Either way, I can still show you guys a general team comp and where I think he'll be useful. Basically, he does cost gen, he does damage, he's cheap. So obviously he's going to be a Cyrene replacement. So what we're going to do is we're going to put down Kane. We're going to have this going, then we can click the alt. Now we get to the point where it's a little bit scuffed because since we've cleared the wave, we don't have enough cost to get another DPS, and he's not going to get his rage back. We're actually going to save until we get Ingrid. When we get Ingrid, we'll actually be able to survive. So here, we're going to do the hammer just for a little bit of extra damage, try to hold on. Then we can put down Ingrid, and we can put down our Diao-chan. And we are going to clear the wave. Now, this might not be the most meta way to do this, and I don't really think Kane will even be arena meta for the top teams, but for the most part, that's how you can do a Kane. And now the rest of the fight is basically going to go like this. It's going to go Ingrid bursts down the mobs at a certain point when she's A3 and she's in overdrive. She's going to kill things. This should not have happened. This should have been 2 shots. Once again, it's weaker on test server. Anyways, Ingrid basically lowers everyone's HP. When she's in overdrive, she finishes it off, and then you're just going to use Kane ult to finish it. Now, it seems like Kane gets weaker over time, which is a little bit unfortunate, especially because the last rounds are the only things that matter. And a big issue with Kane is his range does not cover the entire way. Now, what this means is, here I'm just going to sell Ingrid to prove a point. If the wave does happen to get to you, you can just use your Kane ult, and it will kill. Now, that's very important, and that's how you use Kane, right? Now, that's the general use case that I find for Kane. I don't think he'll be super meta in single target. I think it's still going to be an Ingrid meta or a Valderon meta. But Kane is undeniably useful in specifically, specifically AoE. Now we get to move on to the normal server. Let me show you a little bit of an AoE team that we deal with on global servers. Now, when it comes to global server, this is the team that we run. And the reason why I don't think Kane is going to be meta, but I think he'll still be useful, which I'll go over in a second, is because of Valara. Valara exists, does literally what Kane does, but is actually good into the end game. So if we go into a fight to the defense team, you can see my awakenings are lower than the Pope and Ingrid, obviously. I have 1 on the Diao-chan and an A5 Valara, which obviously is all pretty good, but, you know, it doesn't really matter past the Ingrid A3. Here, what we're going to do is we're going to put down Valara right here, and we're just going to kill everything. So here at the beginning, she clears that. She clears it about as fast as Kane did. Now we can put down our Diao-chan right here, and we're also going to clear this faster than Kane did, right? And this is a unit that doesn't even generate cost. I mean, Kane struggled to get another DPS in to help him out. Now, what we can do is we can ult with Valara, and we can clear the 3rd wave faster than Kane did. Or Kane would on global. I know it was faster because of blah, 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 whatever. But you can see, we're just killing everything. And we don't need a cost gen, because Valara is 12 cost and will solo the waves. And the crazy thing is, Valara will continue to do better than Ingrid in the later rounds. And a big issue that I had with Kane was this is about the ult range. And it looks like that's what the ult range is for Valara as well. But that's not. Because Valara chains outside of her range. So anytime she's ulting, she will just freaking kill everything. Now keep in mind, this is also a harder, because it's global. And also harder because I have 80k BP above, or 60k BP above what I was doing in the other one. So now we're going to be able to move Valara, and these are not hard timings, like this is not the perfect timings, but you get the idea, right? I put Valara up there, she freaking kills everything before it even spawns, we can click a hammer, and everything instantly dies, right? This is a harder matchup, higher BP, not on test server, and she's just doing everything that Kane did, but better. Right, like it's just incomparable in my opinion. So what I foresee happening is Kane will be purely for people who do not have Valara. If you do not have Valara, you will now be able to compete with people that have Valara. You will still lose, but you will be able to hit Apex if you have all of the things for it, like a strong Ingrid or a strong Praetus and all of this stuff. Right, you'll be able to compete. But when it comes to trying to be in the top 300 or whatever it is, you're not going to stand so much of a chance because Valara exists. And Valara is so broken that you're just not going to get a ton of use. Now, single target is also potentially viable, but I think it's not going to be meta. I think it will be meta for, or not meta, I think it will be viable for Overlord, but I don't think it'll be meta. Now, the one thing I have to say about this banner, as my final takeaway, is Kane is for people who do not have Valara who still want to compete in AoE and potentially single target arena. But the reason why I say you should not be going for Kane specifically is because why the hell would you go for Kane when you could wait a couple months and save your summons and have a better chance of getting Valara, who is better in the things that Kane is literally made for, and is also incredibly meta in every other piece of content in the entire game except for boss content. Valara is so broken, so absurdly strong, one of the best hero, maybe even the best hero released this year, and she's just ridiculously strong and basically required if you want to have a good, like a strong endgame account. Why would you ever go for Kane, who is only for 2 areas in the game, maybe just even 1, which is AoE Arena, and will not even be meta compared to Valara, right? Kane is not worth your summons. If you pick up a Kane, that's good. For these banners, only think about the Lords. Unless it is a Valara-like hero, an Ardea-like hero, you ignore the non-Lords. Only go for the Lords. If you do not have Pope, go for an A0 Pope. If you maybe want that A1 really bad and you're close to pity, go for it. Whatever. Beyond that point, I would not go for Praetus either. I think this is a skip weekend. Like I said before, obviously better stuff is going to be coming, and saving is a resource. You want to save. Save your summons. That's my verdict today. Hopefully, I gave you guys some insight. Thank you guys for watching. See y'all in the next one. Destined signing out.